want to move your life forward in the most positive way using astrology? Then let's talk about the astrological patterns for February 2016. We begin the month with a very dynamic configuration. The first half of the month in particular, we are going to be pressured to make some very important changes in our own life and in our consciousness. Basically, what's happening is we have Mercury, Venus, and Pluto all sitting together in Capricorn, and these are going to be square Uranus. Now, this is activating that Uranus-Pluto cycle that's been going on for a long time, and it's bringing it to a close. So for the next month, we are being asked to let go of what no longer serves us and to really face our limitations and fears at a new level. I have to say, for the first 5 days of February, it may feel sort of a bit scratchy in the air, or irritable, or pressured. Now, I don't want to create that for you because I've said it. I don't want to plant the seeds of that. I do want to say, be aware of the possibilities. Take a deep breath, step back, and try not to be super reactive to other people, because it's going to be in the air, so to speak. We're going to have Mars and Scorpio working along with this, and that adds the potential for a lot of strong emotion and pressured thought. But the purpose of this is to get you to a place where you release what is no longer serving you. It's a process of very important metamorphosis going on right now. One other thing about this. Now, you may notice that what you were working on, what you were thinking about, what you were rolling around in your mind in January while Mercury was retrograde may come to fruition now. You may come to a special level of understanding. You may make decisions. Things may start to really move forward. So for the first 5 days of February, it's particularly strong, partially because on February 5th, the moon also goes into Capricorn. That creates a dynamic focus of energy. And then on February 8th, we have the new moon in Aquarius, and that releases the energy a little bit, but we still have that powerful configuration going on with Mercury, Venus, Pluto, and Uranus. So that new moon is a special sort of time frame for you to have a glimpse of new awareness, and I'll talk about that more on my new moon video. When we get to the middle part of February, we may feel a big change and almost a release, because Venus and Mercury are going to move into Aquarius, and that helps us with a little bit of objectivity. It helps us not be quite so reactive, because they won't be in aspect with Pluto and Uranus anymore. Although then we get the very strong Mars and Scorpio energy. You need to remember that if you have planets in the late degrees of Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, or Aquarius, you received a Saturn transit all last year, and Mars, now in Scorpio, is working to reactivate that. So if you have those fixed sign planets in the late degrees, you're going to be particularly activated in the second half of February. And then on February 22nd, the month comes to a close with a beautiful full moon in Virgo. Now, what's important about this particular full moon is we're also going to be having Jupiter in Virgo conjunct the nodal axis. And when that takes place, the thrust of energy is very oriented to service and humility and really working selflessly for others, as opposed to calling attention to ourselves through ego. So when we get to that full moon in Virgo, we may notice that we feel particularly motivated to organize our life, to think clearly, to heal body, mind, and spirit, but really to release our ego connections and work more from that humility point of view. I love the new moon in Virgo because of that. So to summarize the astrological patterns for February, please remember the first half of the month is going to be very different from the second half of the month. And what you want to particularly pay attention to are those first 8 days of February, with a special focus right around the 5th, because that's when the pressure to make changes That's when the pressure to be honest with yourself and face your fears is going to be really strong. Then when we get to the second half of the month, there's a little bit more objectivity. And then on the 22nd of the month, we have that beautiful full moon in Virgo, calling our attention to service and releasing ego. I have to say, this is all in preparation for the eclipses that are coming in March. So March is incredibly dynamic. Please watch my video for next month because you are being prepared in February for the changes that want to take place in March. Thank you. I'm Kathy Rose.